We're about to have a conversation that might not feel good, but it might be the most important one you've had in a long time. Because what you've been calling love might actually be something else entirely. Something quieter, more subtle, but far more dangerous. It's not always love that keeps you holding on. Sometimes it's fear. Not the kind of fear that screams, but the kind that whispers. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of not being chosen. Fear that you are not enough, unless someone else says you are. And that fear, it wears disguises. It hides in late-night texts, in overanalyzing messages, in sacrificing parts of yourself just to be enough for someone else. We've romanticized anxiety. We've turned emotional chaos into passion. We've confused craving someone's presence with needing their permission to exist. Let's pause here. Ask yourself this. If the person you think you love left today just walked away, would you still feel whole? Or would you collapse like a house that never had a foundation to begin with? That ache in your stomach, that obsessive urge to check their online status. That's not affection. That's a trauma response. We've built relationships on survival, not connection. And somewhere along the way, we mistook emotional dependence for emotional intimacy. But here's the truth that no one taught us. Real love doesn't make you smaller. It doesn't silence your voice. It doesn't demand you abandon yourself to be worthy. We've confused being needed with being loved, and we've confused needing someone with loving them. Let's go deeper. You mold yourself, bit by bit, into who you think they want you to be. You trade authenticity for approval. You give up freedom for closeness. You give up you for them, but they didn't ask you to. And even if they did, was it worth it? This isn't love. This is fear dressed in love's clothing. This is an addiction to validation, to presence, to the feeling of being seen, because you can't yet see yourself. And the most dangerous part? We don't even realize it, because dependency is quiet. It doesn't crash through the door. It tiptoes in, wraps its arms around you, and calls itself home. But it's not home. It's a prison. Carl Jung once said that when two people meet, both are transformed. But if you're disappearing in the process, that's not transformation. That's erasure. So I'm going to say something now that might sting. You don't need them. You think you do, but you don't. What you need is you. The part of you you've been ignoring. The version of you that's not edited for approval. The you that exists even in silence. Even when no one is clapping. Even when no one is texting back. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally care about yourself too. It means you're ready to stop sacrificing your peace to avoid someone else's absence. It means you're ready to feel the void and not run from it. Because that emptiness, that's where your healing starts. Detachment is not bitterness. It's not indifference. It's not closing your heart. Detachment is choosing peace over panic. Self-respect over self-sacrifice. It's the radical act of saying, I love you, but I love myself too. It's realizing that love should never cost you your identity. That real love doesn't trap you. It frees you. And here's something else most people won't tell you. Being alone isn't failure. It's freedom. It's where you meet the parts of yourself you've ignored. It's where your voice gets louder, your vision gets clearer, and your worth becomes something you feel, not something you prove. If being alone terrifies you, that's not a reason to chase someone. That's a reason to come back to yourself. Ask yourself, why does solitude feel like punishment? Why does their silence feel like rejection? Why does losing them feel like losing you? That's where the real work begins. Healing doesn't mean you stop loving others. It means you stop abandoning yourself to do it. It means no longer mistaking pain for depth, drama for devotion, possession for partnership. Because love is not about control. It's not about proving. It's not about holding so tightly that you crush what you claim to care for. Love is presence. Love is safety. Love is growth. Love is choice. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about why so many of us end up here, trapped in emotional dependency, mistaking our deepest fears for love. It starts early. You were not born feeling incomplete. You were born whole. But then came the world, whispering that you had to earn love, that you had to be good, quiet, pretty, successful, pleasing to be chosen. You learned, slowly but surely, to tie your worth to someone else's approval. And that lesson? It carved itself deep into your nervous system, into your body, into your habits of connection. Now, you may not even realize how often your thoughts orbit around someone else. How much of your day is spent waiting for a message a gesture, a sign that you still matter. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because no matter how long you've lived this way, you can choose to unlearn it. You can decide, today, to stop placing the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. You can begin to return to yourself. It starts with noticing. Noticing how your body tightens when they don't reply, how your heart races when they seem distant, how you start shrinking parts of yourself just to fit into the space they allow. And instead of judging yourself for it, get curious. Ask, what am I afraid of right now? What fear is running the show? Is it the fear of abandonment? The fear that if they walk away, no one else will come? Or perhaps the fear that you, by yourself, are not enough? These are not easy questions, but they're the real ones. Because love, true love, begins when fear no longer sits in the driver's seat. So here's a radical idea. What if the purpose of a relationship isn't to complete you, but to reflect you back to yourself? To help you grow, not hide. To expand, not shrink. That's why detachment is so powerful. Not because it makes you cold or distant, but because it brings you back into alignment with your own essence. You stop grasping. You stop clinging. You stop performing. Here's something else no one tells you. Real love can't grow in the soil of control. If you're constantly managing the connection, checking their phone, needing constant reassurance, molding your identity around what they want, what you have isn't love. It's management. It's fear of loss pretending to be connection. And in that dynamic, no one gets to be free. So what if you let go of control? What if you stopped trying to be chosen and started choosing yourself? What if you allowed people to leave if they needed to and trusted that what is meant for you will never require self-abandonment? That, my friend, is where your power lives. Not in holding on, but in knowing when to release, in realizing that your worth doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see it. It's not about closing off. It's about opening up, but this time with roots, with a center, with a truth inside you that says, even if they leave, I remain. I still belong to myself. And that's the most beautiful form of love there is. A love that doesn't bind. A love that doesn't consume. A love that doesn't confuse possession with partnership. Now, I know, letting go feels like death. It feels like a kind of emotional amputation, because for so long, your identity was fused with theirs. But here's the secret. What feels like dying is often just a shedding of everything that isn't really you. And underneath the ache, something powerful begins to rise. You begin to hear your own voice again. You start remembering what you loved before you forgot yourself. You taste your own presence, your own joy, your own wholeness. That's the return. That's the rebirth. And from that place, when love comes again, and it won't be a rescue mission. It will be a celebration, a meeting of equals, not as looking to be filled, but two full beings choosing each other, not out of fear, but out of freedom. So let me leave you with this. If it asks you to shrink, it's not love. If it fills you with dread, it's not love. If it demands your silence, your smallness, your surrender of self, it's not love. Real love holds space for all of you. Your voice, your needs, your messiness, your light. And most importantly, it honors your sovereignty. It does not trap you. It travels with you, not over you. So breathe. Come back to your body. Come back to your truth. Let yourself grieve what you once thought was love. Mourn the illusion, yes, but do not stay there, because what comes next, the clarity, the freedom, the unshakable sense of self, is worth it. This is the work. This is the way back. This is the love that starts and ends with you.